Greetings, this is the Crunchy Fat, and this is part 2 of What If Female Deku Was the Goddess of the Void. And before we continue, I'd like to thank you for the corrections you gave me on the last part about my Egyptian mythology. Now, I do thank you for that correction about the Anubis thing. I'm not that well versed in Egyptian mythology. It's just that I prefer to do Greek mythology because it's where I'm more comfortable with. But I'm willing to branch out to other mythologies, and I do thank you for the correction. Now, if you guys do feel like that I've made any mistakes in my what ifs, then you are more than welcome to correct me. And I will take that and try to make it better. So I do thank you, and we'll continue on to the next part. This part. Now, before I continue, I'd like to explain that the humans do know that the gods exist. So people like Izumi, Izumo, and I believe it was Horus. Hold on, give me a minute. Yep, I was right. It was Horus. Now they do know all these three, but they don't know about Izula. So we begin with Izula descending toward the Earth. Now, satellites do pick up a humanoid object moving towards the Earth, as Horus would be in the air at the time, as he would have seen this and think. He would have saw this humanoid object and thought that it was a threat, as he would fly up to it and say, as he would yell, "Hey, you!" as he was about to attack it, as sort of like black tendrils would wrap around his arms, as he would then take a closer look and realize that it was Izula, as Horus would say, "Izula, I'm so sorry, I did not know that it was you. I thought you were still in the void." As Izula would respond with, "It's fine, brother. You are not aware, and I forgive you for that. Now then, how are Izumo and Izumi doing?" As he said, they're doing great. Izumo has currently taken residence on Island, and Izumi is currently dealing with the war between heroes and villains. Now, I'm not talking about the actual war arc. I'm talking about the crime war between heroes and villains, as Horus would say. So Izumi is currently taking residence in Japan, as Izula would say. "Good, then I think it's about time that we meet up with Izumi, and then you go and alert Izumo that I have arrived on Earth." As Horus would say, "Yes, Izumi, I shall do that." No, Izumi, Izula. Sorry, I'm getting the names mixed up still. As they would end up moving to their respective people that they're looking for. So Izumi is currently just in a meeting with the Hero Association, as all the members are basically yelling at each other, as sort of like a black portal would appear in the middle of the room, as Izumi currently has her blade, basically this, raised towards the portal, as Izula would walk out of it, as Izumi would immediately lower it down, as she would say, "Ah, Izula, it's you." As the members of the Hero Association are freaking out as they're saying, "Wait, you know her?" As Izumi would say, "Of course, why wouldn't I recognize my own sister?" As they'd all simultaneously say, "Sister?" like in a very confused tone. As Izumi would say, "Yes, this is my older sister. She's the goddess of the void. And she is the main reason that the multiverse, and even I exist. Because she chose to create it. she basically represents any form of choice we all make. And basically whatever happens, like if somebody passes, part of it returns to her, like the physical part of them, while the spiritual part heads to the field of reeds. I believe that the Egyptian afterlife, yeah, the soul goes to the field of reeds, while the rest of it goes to Izula. So basically, anything that has died, the physical part goes to her. As Izumi would run up and hug her, as she'd say, "How'd you get out of the void?" As Izula would say, "It was surprisingly easier than I thought. All I had to do was just cover my arm in a bit of the void and then just slice through it. It was surprisingly easy. I did not know why I didn't think of that before." As Izumi would say, "So, how's the multiverse going?" As Izula would look at her, as she'd say, "Approximately 2 universes have been destroyed, 15 have gone silent, and 23 have died. No life exists in it." As the entire Hero Association are terrified that she's managed to keep track of this. As Izumi would be upset by this, as she'd say, "Oh, so I'm guessing some of the other versions of me are gone as well, I assume." As Izula would say, the versions of you in the universes that have gone silent have not, but unfortunately the ones in the universes that have been destroyed or have died have since ceased to exist. But you're still here, so that's the good thing. You are the original. So I'm happy that you still exist. There's none other like you, and I do hope you do last longer than this universe, along with Izumo and Horus. And just as soon as Izula says Izumo, he basically barges through the door. As I'll say, Izumo is actually quite energetic. He has a very energetic personality. As he would say, "Izula, how are you?" As he would go to dive, basically like, jump into her. As Izula would sidestep Izumo, as he would go face first into a desk. As Izumo would say, "Ow, why do you have to be so mean, Izula?" As Izula would say, "It's because it is still way too early for me to deal with your energeticness. It's like, it's like, I don't know what time is anymore. The void has been messing with me. Time acts different in the void, so I'm still very confused." Izumo would say, "Oh, it's okay." As Izula would say, "So, what's happening here?" As Izumi would explain that they're currently working on trying to deal with villains. As Izula would basically raise an eyebrow, but she would be a little bit angry, as it'd say, "So, they're trying to remove people who have made their choices. Am I right?" As basically some sort of like a murderous aura comes from her. As Izumi begins freaking out, she's saying, "What? No. They're trying to sort this out without trying to kill them." As Izula is still sort of like giving off the murderous aura, I should say, "Izumi, they have made their choices. You made your choice to become the goddess of war, and Izumo made his choice to become the god of the ocean. I am well aware that your society will crumble if it's not dealt with, But hiring people who are in it for nothing but fame and money is not the way to go about it. Because I've watched From the Void, and I've seen the number 2 hero, Endeavor, kill 15 people who are quote unquote villains because he passed it off as an accident. And I am ashamed that this association fell for it. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'll need to go and deal with something real quick. I'm going to go and have a meeting with the other gods. You three are more than welcome to join it. As Izula would teleport away. As the other three would just be quite confused, as they have never seen Izula this angry before. As they're wondering what pissed her off. And as Izula would teleport to the god's meeting room, which is in... Okay, so you know like how in real life we found like a secret chamber in the Egyptian pyramids? Yeah, I'll say that's where the god's meeting room is. So Izula is currently sitting in the head god's position, head god's seat, as all the other gods would walk into the room and see this mysterious woman sitting in the head god's chair. As they're saying, as Anubis would jump the gun and say, "Who the hell are you? Only the head god Ra can sit in that seat." As Izula would begin to laugh, as she'd say, "Really? You think he's the head god?" As they'd say, "Yes, he helped create this planet." As Izula would say, "Well, your quote-unquote head god wouldn't really exist without me, now would he?" As Anubis would yell, "What the hell are you saying?" As he would charge towards her. As he'd yell, "I'm gonna kill you!" As Izula would say, "Well, that's quite quick. That's quite quick for you to jump the gun, Anubis." As black tendrils would come out from the wall, as they would slam Anubis into them. As she'd say, "Now, listen, I am the one who created you guys. So do listen to what I say before you have to jump the gun. I'm wanting to have a meeting. So get every god you know here right now. And I'll have my siblings introduce me." As they would get all the gods together, and Anubis would be released from the wall, as he would get into his seat. As Izumo, Horus, and Izumi would introduce Izula, saying that she is their sister, and that she is the goddess of the void, and that by her choice, her choice created the universe, allowing her to allowing them to exist, and that she had recently gone out of the void. As Izumi would begin to talk about how the quirks have basically caused the humans to become become greedy, and that she is not angry that they had developed them. She is just angry that people have chosen to use this power for their own sake and not for the sake of... some people have chosen to use the power for their own sake and not for the sake of others. She would then use the example of Katsuki Bakugo from Japan, who is a middle school student with a quirk called Explosions, and that he bullies those with who have weaker quirks or have no quirks. As she would say that she is ashamed of what humanity has become, but she is not going to wipe them out because they're probably going to do it themselves. So it's best that that the gods try not to interfere that much, but you can still go along with your job, with your titles and jobs. As Anubis would say, and why should we trust you? As Izumi would say, do you know how many versions of yourself have tried to challenge me before? It did not end well for them, Anubis, so I would say that you do not do the same. As Anubis would be scared, as he would say, yes, miss. As all the gods are surprised because nobody has actually gotten Anubis to shut up. So, sorry about that. No, Prince Vegeta. Sorry about that. We were, as Izula would say, this meeting is dismissed. I will continue spectating, and I'll head to UA to oversee the future heroes that are being created there. And that is where I'm going to end this What If off. I'm sorry if this sort of differentiated from her personality that was originally planned out, but I don't really remember the first part that well. It's sort of vague parts. Now, before I end this What If, I'd like to say that I do have another anime What If lined up. Is a Demon Slayer one. So if you guys would like to see it, I will put up just type down your answer if you want to see it in the comment section. Now, I'd like you guys to know this is the first other anime What If that I've done, aside from female Naruto one, which I do not plan on continuing, so please stop. So for those of you who have been asking for it, please stop. I'm not going to continue it because it's way too confusing for me, because I've never seen Naruto. So anyway, I do hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you all next time. Ta-ta!